before we start, we do have your consent to be in this video.
Yes.
Okay. All right. First question. How long have you been in the animal business?
Well, when I was a teenager, I used to train the family dog, but professionally and business-wise, I would say probably from early 80s.
Do you rescue animals?
We do. We take dogs, sometimes cats, who are not wanted or who are lost. And we have a program within my business that helps get them to a place where we can get them back out and adopted to a home.
How many animals have you rescued from an abusive background?
If it's an abusive background, it becomes a legal problem. And so we actually don't take any animals. That has to be at the animal shelter, the government animal shelter, has to deal with abuse.
Okay.
We've seen animals that have been neglected, medical treatment hasn't been given, but it's not abuse. There are legal issues about abuse and neglect. And if it's an abuse, or if it's a clear neglect that would be a legal issue, then the animal control has to be involved.
Do you know why they have to be involved?
Because it's law, and we can't
okay.
enforce law.
Okay.
We're a nonprofit, we're a private rescue.
Okay, so how hard is it to get animals adopted?
It depends on the dog. If they're pit bulls and chihuahuas, it's fairly hard. If it's border collie or golden retriever or some fluffy little thing, it's fairly easy. As long as they have good temperaments, they have good manners, decent manners, and are relatively healthy.
Okay. You said you also rescued cats on some occasions?
Once in a while, we've
Okay.
taken a cat.
Is it hard to get those adopted?
For us, because we don't have a network for cats.
Oh, okay. I see.
Hold on for a sec. You want to stop for a sec?
Okay, being fairly familiar with animals and pets, have you ever seen any of them be abused, like, personally?
You know, I haven't seen abuse, but I've seen the result of really bad animal husbandry. We once found a St. Bernard who was extremely emaciated, to the point where when I found it, I took it to the vet because I thought it was going to die. When I talked to the owners, I said, you know, this dog is really thin, and it was out, they had just gotten it, it was out with their goats, and they said, oh, we feed it goat milk. Well, I said, that's not enough to keep this dog alive. So that was one of those borderline abuse, neglect, legal, and we actually did call animal control, but the address they gave us was not the address where they lived, and we never found the dog again. We also have seen dogs that have not had medical care, but it's one of those gray areas between neglect, because there's some people that don't, you know, they don't take their kids to the doctor for every sniffle, and then other people do. So when do you decide it's neglect, and when do you decide it's just, I'm glad I don't live there. So, as I said, because we're not the law, we can't, if we see something like that, we would refer it right over to animal control.
Okay. Being that you are a vet,
not a vet, we're not a vet.
Well, yeah, sure.
I take care, what I do is I take care of the animals, and I can do some technical kinds of things to the pet, the procedures to the pet.
Do you know anyone that works with farm animals?
Some of my customers do. You know, they have dairy cows, horses.
Have you ever heard of anyone rescuing or trying to help out, like, farm animals?
Yes, they're actually farm animal rescues.
Okay. And do you think people prefer house pets over farm animals?
I think it depends on what they grow up with. They have to have the space. If you're going to have a cow or a sheep or goats, you have to have the space for them. And ideally, you have some idea how to take care of them. Whereas more of us have grown up with dogs and cats, so we have a little bit of an idea of how to take care of them.
Okay. And just a personal question here. Do you prefer cats or dogs?
I have more dogs than I've ever had cats. And I have a business that makes it hard to bring cats in to a situation where I have dogs, and sometimes dogs that I haven't raised. So it's safer for me to have, at this point, dogs.
Yeah. Why do you think it's harder to move cats? Like, adopt them?
I think there are more of them.
Oh, there are more of them? Oh,
Well, you look at all the feral cats. Look at all the kittens that are born. You can have 2 litters of kittens a year, 3 a year, and dogs can have 2 litters a year, but it's harder. We also tend not to let dogs run around in packs. It's a public health issue, and we do let cats run around in packs. They're cat colonies.
Okay. And last question here. What's your opinion on animal abuse?
Well, I think that how we treat our animals is a reflection of how we treat each other's. And if we don't have some compassion and kindness towards animals, my guess is we're not showing compassion and kindness towards people either. So it's a reflection of how we treat each other, is how we treat our animals.
That's good. Thank you for your time.
All right.